Shelley's going to talk a little bit about presentations and project.
I just need to find this really quickly. Hold on a second.
Her team took the trophy at World for presentation.
And they're a Rhode Island team, the team that won our state championship last year.
Yes.
We're very proud of them.
Won state twice in a row, 2 years in a row, went to World, into Florida, and all over the place. So, she certainly got some good points. She held a workshop for the coaches where they meet the experts at URI a couple weeks ago.
I did. Hi, everybody. I'm Sheli Silviera, and I'm a proud part of the coaching family of All Saints Academy, and we're really excited about what we've done there with our team. And this year we went from having one team that's been quite successful to 3 FLL teams and 2 junior FLL teams. So the population of our school is about 160 kids, and we have about 33 of them involved in our program. So that's a pretty awesome, exciting thing. So thank you all for being here tonight, because as we all know, without all of us, this doesn't happen, because for the kids who are so important. All Saints Academy, we're very proud of our team. We have won states twice in the year. This is them winning at states last year, which took us, we had a golden ticket last year, and it took us to the first experience in St. Louis, which is my hometown, so it was really awesome. But we also, as a winner of the championship award the year previously, went to Florida and competed at the Robots in Paradise Invitational, and of which there we did get a callback, but we didn't come home with any Lego trophies, but we felt that that was a pretty awesome accomplishment for a little school from Rhode Island and this big, gigantic international event. And the other great picture is us winning the first place trophy for a presentation. And so that's what makes me get to stand here in front of you and pretend I know exactly what I'm talking about. So, warm-ups. I'm going to make you all move a second, just because I want to focus really quickly. Because one of the things I think is very important is that kids in First Lego League are mostly, I'm going to stop using the mic right now. You can all hear me, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so just a little bit about me really quickly. I come from a theater background. So I make the kids think like little future Ben Nye the Science Guy people, because they need to think like a performer to do a presentation. So I make them warm up. So at the big thing, I don't know if you were there before, but I'm going to do a mild version of one of my favorite warm-ups right now. So you're going to take your right hand and you're going to take your left hand. And you mostly do this with left feet and right feet as well. But we're going to do it then. We're going to count down, which we call shaking up 5. Or you can do any number you wish, but we'll do it for 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Great way. We start every one of our presentation practices with some sort of warm-up to make us focus in, think about things as all the things we have to do. So all we have to accomplish. Research. Yes?
Does that work?
Pardon?
Does that work?
It does. It's our routine. It's our routine. We have silly ones, and that, I mean, like we usually start 10. I mean, by the time you count down from 10,
Like, sort of like shooting free throws or something?
it could be, yeah. It's just a simple way to focus your body in, your mind in, and kind of get the giggles out. I call it get the giggles out time, too. So research. So a lot of kids come into this program and they go, the robot's so cool, the research, why am I doing that? I actually had a kid go, why are we doing this? Like, so helpless, like he could be careless. At this particular point, he's cared way more, and it's very exciting. But the research part of this component to me is the part that I get all excited about. My husband, he's all into the robot, so and it's so great that we are fortunate that we have a lot of parent volunteers, so we all have been able to find our niche. So the research is the research part of the rubric, and the thing is that it's very clearly written out in the coach's handbook and any information you find online what to do. You're supposed to find a problem, you're supposed to find a solution, you're supposed to identify those information, and you're supposed to try to innovate something fun, and then you're supposed to make a 5-minute presentation. All right? Sounds so simple, right? So you put all these kids and their brilliant ideas that are all kinds of different levels of different creativity, you try to put that together. So how do you do it? So give your research project time to think. I know that this is one that, a lot of these slides are what I did at Meet the Experts. So did they do interviews? Surveys, do they go to the professionals? Last year, our innovative solution was a car park. So we went everywhere. We went to junkyards, we started with nursing homes to find ideas from seniors. We went to car dealers, insurance agencies. So we reached out with our research. We talked to the professionals, we got into the thick of things. And we got dirty. That 2 years ago, our solution was aquaponics. So our problem was that there's arsenic in the land in Aquidneck Island. It was getting into our potatoes specifically because there's a lot of potato farms in Aquidneck Island. So we wanted to think like a potato. So the kids also wanted to do a Men in Black theme. So we had to combine how do you make Men in Black and potatoes and arsenic and put that all together. So that's where the creativity comes into. So we get dirty. We got, this is our idea. We put together potatoes and we grew our own potatoes with our fish for our fertilizer. So did the kids take the steps to do all these elements of their research? Or did they just take an idea and put it to paper? That's the difference between the different levels. Get really dirty. Last year, we literally went to junkyards. We literally took the kids right into, we were so lucky to have people who brought them into the car dealerships and gave us car parts, and we were very fortunate. So then, innovative solution. Innovative solutions are a huge, gigantic, important part of what we are looking for in terms of those people who are going to have that leg up on being excellence. So what did they do to innovate their idea? So brainstorming is really important in terms of judging, how much did they brainstorm? How did those kids learn those skills of brainstorming? Did they innovate something new that already exists, which has a lot of validity? I mean, how many things have been invented recently that someone just found a new idea for it and bam, it was awesome. As a matter of fact, the team that won at the Robots in Paradise in Florida, they just found a new use for something that existed. They didn't, and that was brilliant. They were the ones who came in. When they shoot the moon, let them shoot the moon, then they have the team figure out how it should be built. And just this week, I told one of the kids, because he was had this great idea, the same one who was so crazy, why are we doing this? Now it's this great idea, but he wants to climb Mount Everest. He wants to be at the peak. And I said, you can't. You got to start at Camp 1, because you got to learn the fundamentals of it so that they can explain it. So that's the thing, is that when they can, that's the difference between the levels of the work. So they've shown their work. So this is us. This is a qualifier. This is what we went to qualifiers with this piece right there, building into this piece right here. And then we were lucky enough to be sponsored by a tool and die company and people who help fund us and to do it, to take our blueprints and build it for us. So this silver tube right here on the left, you're right, is our product which we call Accelerite, which we actually did a patent pending for, which is also a nice piece when kids can say patent pending. Means that they've really, really done their work and research and trying to get something together. So what that car part was, is the kids wanted to do something that would help seniors that would be affordable, because it works against unintended acceleration. So they found that seniors wanted to be mobile, they wanted to be on their feet, they wanted to be independent, they wanted to be autonomous. They don't want to rely on their families. So they found that they just designed a car part that would work against unintended acceleration, which in our own personal community had caused a great deal of damage, loss of business time from people having things. They noticed that a lot of car fronts of glass buildings now have big concrete urns in front of them. Why? Unintended acceleration. I mean, it's so great to be out in the community with them and see them learn how their idea was going to help other people. And then have that idea be put together and taken to car industries. We went to the car industries, we went to insurance people and talked to them about how it would work and what the difference was between this and what's already in a car. Toyota has a product like that, but what was different for this is that it was after factory, it was affordable, it was something that could be ideally installed as simple as an oil change in a perfect world. So we are very excited that we got such recognition from such a thing like that. Presentation. So this is where my skills come in. As a performer, I work with the kids very hard, and I think like a performer, so I want to teach them that. But more than that, my personal goal working in First Lego League is that I think I give them a skill that they're going to use for the rest of their life. Because being able to stand in front of a bunch of people who are authoritative and have a conversation intelligently, without dragging, without rushing, answering questions articulately, being kind and polite, all those things that we teach in the core values as well, are life skills. And I tell them that. I'm teaching you something that you're going to use the rest of your life. So we really focus on those kinds of things. So did they write a script? My big thing is that improvisation is for Saturday Night Live. And another thing I'm going to say about 50 times is, did they rush? Rushing means that they, although we're nervous, we're always going to be nervous as anybody. I was nervous sitting there waiting for my turn. But rushing means that they didn't really rehearse. And that's the thing I really stress, is that if you practice really a lot, really put the time and effort into practicing, the day of your competition, you're going to really be able to have more fun. You'll be able to enjoy it, and you won't be like, oh, what was that word? I don't remember it. Because you'll know it so well, it'll be like the back of your hand. This is a great story I have about our team from last year. We lost a team member. We were a team of 7 until the Monday before qualifiers when we lost a student who dropped from our school. So those kids, those 6 remaining kids, pulled it together to come out first at that qualifier and then move on to up as they went. So that's just a great example of how much we really worked the details so that it could go great. Think like a performing scientist. So one of the things I have them do a lot of is impromptu speaking. Impromptu speaking, I have a little exercise I do a lot with them. This is just kind of a side thing that would probably be very helpful for people going back to teams. You take a 3-word list, a person, a place, and a thing, and each team member takes a chance. They pull it from the pot, everybody put their own ideas in. You pull it, you have 30 seconds to prep, and a minute to speak. So this is a great brainstorming technique. It's a great way to start a script, but it's also, again, when they're in their college interview, I want them to hear in the back of their head, oh, Mrs. Silviera helped me prepare for this. That's my goal for all these kids. So, the rubric says in it, was it creative? Was it interesting? Was it fun? We want them to have fun. That's the last core value, always have fun. The First Lego League ideas that they have in there are also just really wonderful and great. Our success, I think, comes that we have been really clever in using our ideas that are innovative ideas and practicing a lot. The team should be able to identify each other's strengths. This is also part of the core values, which is just part of this whole celebration. They should be able to identify the roles that each child can partake. Who can handle statistics and figures? Who can handle vocabulary? Who can be funny? Who can be more serious? Who can be realistic about expectations? We have a really great, I have a great story about 2 years ago with the potatoes, where we had a young lady who was very timid. She was not going to be able to cite things, and we had to find a way to include her so that she felt a part of the team, that she had effective input, so that she was participating in everything. We do a lot of group statements for that, so that everybody has that group moment, so that they're all on the same page. We use a lot of short phrases for people who are timid. Sometimes they're in charge of the props as well. I listened to the team call last night, the coaches call last night, and there was a lady in there speaking about how she has a child who is nonverbal, and I was talking to my daughter. I was about how those challenges would be today. She had like 5 things that nonverbal child in a wheelchair could do, and I thought that was so great. Costumes help. Last year, you might remember our blue jumpsuits that had a great statement on the floor. You could identify us. Well, I heard a lot of people say those blue jumpsuit kids. So, a little staging can be fun. But my favorite story about the potatoes is that we had a young lady who was really timid. And the solution we had to that is we made her a potato. She was a potato head potato in a little potato head costume with arsenic written all over it. And her big line was a very important line that the kids really felt was an important point to make. And it was, would I die from eating potato? Every time she hit it on the mark, it was a really important part that we shared. We're like, there's arsenic in the potatoes, but you were not going to die from it. That was their point they wanted to make. So this is a 5-minute play about nature's fury. This is what we're talking about. So bring the A into your stem, steam ahead. Making cups and props and costumes are a great exercise for team building experiences as well. It also helps it. You can see we made the team put together this beautiful toolbox, and all it was core foam and handles. We were lucky enough to be able to bring part of that to St. Louis. That was the part where family came in handy to borrow things. An actor prepares an hour for each page of the script. That's a general rule for performing. So think of it that way as you're putting, how much time is it? Invite people to watch from the beginning of your process and be prepared to adjust, tweak, rewrite, and don't rush. Oh, wait, sorry, I skipped ahead. I hit the wrong thing. Here we go. So this is the team last year, right after they did all of their judging at St. Louis. And that's the smile on their face. And I was so happy about that picture because I said, I can't post this on Facebook. Everyone's going to think you won. Look how happy you are. So later on, I was really happy I had this terrific picture to be able to utilize because we were so proud of the team. How do you evaluate your progress? Make a video. It's very powerful for them to see themselves. Sub in a coach for a role and have the team member critique what the students are doing. Invite people who know nothing about your idea and see if they understand what you're talking about. Invite the experts in to see your presentation and have them challenge you with questions. Don't rush. Be open to new ideas as you progress. Tell your story to all who will listen. This is one of the key things on the rubric that's very important. And I have to tell you, I think this is one of the things that gave us a very good position last year, is that we told our story in a great way. This was after we won the qualifier, we were in the newspaper. We went to churches. We went to the supermarket. We went to SAIC, who sponsored us, which we were very grateful for. We talked to the pros. And our team, actually, Andy Pratt's children, Alex and Alden, represented us, and I believe we were the only FLL team invited to be there at the White House Science Fair. Doesn't get any cooler than that. Then that's Bill Knight's Science Fair. So tell your story to who all will listen. I think that's a really important thing, that it's not so hard for teams to go out, invite people in, or go out to get people to listen to you. I'm showing you this picture because today's Rebecca's birthday, and I want to honor her from the floor there. She is looking great in St. Louis. And always have fun. Any questions really quick? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you're talking to judges here, and it might be a great time for you to, from a coach's perspective, tell us what you find useful in feedback on the rubrics. So you won your qualifier last year, but you had rubrics in front of you, and I was fortunate enough to see your presentation in the qualifier as well as, and I would say you picked up your game a lot, probably from the practice things you already told us. Well, were the rubrics helpful to you? And if so, what was helpful? If not, what would you ask us to do?
I can't stress how useful our team feels the rubrics are. When we are building a script, we say, is that on the rubric? Oh wait, is this on the rubric? We haven't put that part in the rubric. I think that the comments that are put on there, not just circling something, but giving a comment, ever so brief even, is really, really, really helpful, especially if this is a team, no matter what, actually. I don't want to say especially, because no matter what, we want them to be encouraged to come back and do it again next year. And for a lot of kids, a lot of judges too, this is the hardest part. Putting this presentation to them is like doing their dissertation. And to be honest, this is what makes First Lady of the League to me so fascinating, is that we teach these kids to do oral defense of their work. I mean, what I just talked to you about applies to the robot design, applies to core values, it applies to every element of what we do. So So as a judge, I can't stress enough, and I'm this year being in those shoes too, I'm going to try really hard to make a comment. Make sure that you give them at least one thing you're like, that was really awesome. If it was you smiled, you got to busy really fast, you were prepared. If it was that piece of information really wowed me. And to give constructive criticism. I didn't hear how much that cost, and that's on the rubric. It's a really important one. And maybe the thing would be circle and say, this would have been a great thing to have added to your thing, to your presentation. To circle things, that, and not to circle, but to comment, maybe narrow. You missed this, it's a key element. Does anyone else think that that's a good idea? Or am I crazy?
And I'll add to that not just the top performing teams, we hear that across the board because we don't do a lot of awards, and the teams say that the feedback is the most important thing to them because then they can share to their team what they did well, what they needed to work on, and they can plan for either the next event or the next year. That's repeatedly, and Rebecca will agree with this, repeatedly what we hear from the coaches. Any word other than just a circle on that rubric that gets returned to them is vital. It's just so important to them, and they appreciate every single word.
And they would rather have feedback than actually be in that judging room watching the kids.
Yeah. I agree. We had the opportunity at St. Louis to go in with the team, and we didn't. We stayed outside because, first of all, we were confident that they knew their stuff really well to be able to answer the question. But also, I think we made them more nervous. that we had trained them well enough that they were confident in front of strangers more than us, the judges, their coaches. Can we talk about, as a group, about setup? Because listening to all the things that I've listened to, so that makes my time. All the things I've listened to is that setting up is included in the 5 minutes. No?
No.
So they get 1 minute for setup.
1 minute for
It's a
setup?
15-minute session, so
Okay.
they come in, expect about a minute or so to set up. They have 5 minutes to present, and then there's about 5 minutes of questions, and then clean up, and the judges will talk, and but there's 15 minutes, and 5 minutes is for...
No, well, I wanted to stress, though, that of that 15 minutes, only 10 minutes or 11 when you add the minute for setup is to the team.
Right.
And then they're expected to clean up quickly and get out so the judges can use that last 4 minutes to make notes. And one thing we really want to stress to the judges this year is we need to stay on the clock. I know that you want to talk more to the kids and ask more questions, but the deliberation time and the ranking time and all those things have to come into play, which Dick is going to talk about next. And in order for that to happen, you have to give every team the same amount of time, and that's got to be the 1 minute to set their stuff up, 5 minutes to do their presentation, 5 minutes for questions, and then out the door they go. Yep.
I missed last year. When do they get the feedback?
Those sheets are distributed to them after the event.
After it's all over?
Yeah, we email them out to everybody. We
Okay,
collect
so
them at the
there's
end.
no one-on-one discussion?
No.
Not feedback like that, no.
Yeah, no. So if Dick's ready, you want to move on to the
Yeah.
next?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shelley.